All right, what's up, everybody? We're back again talking some fantasy football here today. Big Ant Fantasy Football back again. We got Yash joining the stream here in a bit, and then we're going to be talking some Monday Night Football. We're going to be talking our best picks from that game and just some general game predictions, some things to keep an eye on for fantasy. And we're going to be walking through the games that went down yesterday and our takeaways from those. Appreciate y'all for tuning in today. We'll get right into it. What up, Frizzle? See you already in here, bro. Good to see you. So big news from yesterday. Another top 15 finish in the hurry up. That's now 2 of 3 weeks where we finished relatively high in this contest. Pretty good team. We had Jalen Hurts, Jahmyr Gibbs. We had Josh Jacobs. Got the notification that he was ruled out, and we set our swaps for Emmanuel Wilson, and that worked out really well. Wilson comes in at only 32% drafted and pops off for 25 points, and he was one of my highest exposed players of the week. See, we got Yash in here. What up, dog?
What's good?
Good to see you, bro. How you doing?
Honestly, a little less tranquil than I should be because I skipped this sauna today. So, you know, I'm happy because a lot of my dart throws landed this weekend. Secret player I was high on was John Mechie over AD Mitchell, and I think we'll probably get into that later. But
Yeah, a lot of our takes were pretty spot on over the weekend. I feel like we had a really good read on this slate. Ended up profiting quite a bit on this slate, to be honest. Hit a bunch of pick'em slips in the Discord yesterday. We took down 15th in the hurry up. Another good day for the channel, for the people that have been riding with us. You guys sure got some benefit as well with some cash slips. I was talking through this team, Yash. Big thing that won this for me is obviously Jahmyr Gibbs popping off. I was not really getting very many 101 picks this week, of course, which is the week you needed the 101 to land on Gibbs.
how it goes.
But lucky enough, one of the teams I did have Gibbs on was the team that got there. I'll pull up my exposures after this, but I think I was like less than 5% Gibbs on the weekend. And
Did we
Emmanuel
draft this
Wilson.
on stream or no?
Uh,
Because I know there was that 101 pick where you almost went JT over Gibbs.
to be honest, I don't know if I did draft this one on stream. I can go back and check, but this might have been one of the, because I know I did like about half of the hurry ups on stream, about half off stream. But yeah, it's super sick taking this down for $100. Like I said, right when I hopped on, that's now 2 of the last 3 weeks we took down taking like a top 15 finish. We look at the team that won. They had very similar team to us. The only difference is instead of Devontae Smith, they had AJ Brown, and instead of Travis Kelce, they had Brock Bowers, which really made no difference. But it's kind of funny that because when I pull up my exposures, I was taking more AJ Brown than Devontae Smith. Like I was higher on AJ Brown a little bit, and but I was trying to mix him in because I wasn't super confident on that stance. So of course the team that had the best chance of winning was the one that had Devonta Smith. So if that was the AJ Brown team, probably would have been a top 5 finish. Some other things that were unfortunate: Travis Kelce had his touchdown get called back. If that touchdown did not get called back, I would have finished top 3. I was checking the numbers. You see here, third place was at 155. I had 149.6. So if I score that touchdown, Kelce gets 2 yards rushing, would have finished third place. So that's a little upsetting, but it is what it is. Happy to take down some profit on the weekend. Let me look at my exposures and just talk through some things we got right. So Travion Henderson, how we feeling about him after this Sunday, Yosh?
Did I send you the Wabi Sabi TikTok about Ramondre?
I don't know if I did. Or
I
don't know
mean,
if you
bro,
did.
they love Ramondre, bro. Like, I really don't know how to put that. Like, it's so bizarre how you wouldn't give Travion just everything. Let me go see how many carries did he end up getting?
Travion. So Travion, we were actually from like a touches perspective, I was happy. He
He
finished
smashed
with
you.
20 plus touches, a lot of opportunities. The issue was that these opportunities, he wasn't getting the goal line opportunities. And that was the big takeaway I had and the big frustration as someone who drafted 44% Hendo. I guess the team that ended up being the best one for me didn't have him. So maybe it's a better thing he didn't end up scoring. But the most frustrating sequence I think of all Sunday for me was watching the Patriots get down to the goal line, or they're on the 5 yard line, right? Travion's in the game. He gets the first carry, fights through contact, gets down to the one. Like tough run. There wasn't really anything blocked there, and he did a good hella physical run just to even get to the one, right? You think everything tells you, oh yeah, give it back to that guy. No, they sub out or I can't remember the exact sequence of events, but I know there was a play action pass mixed in there when Henderson was in the game. Then they sub in Terrell Jennings, who gets stuffed at the one. Then there's a flag, so they get a clean set of downs, right? It's first down again from the 1 yard line. First play from scrimmage. Let's give Ramondre Stevenson the ball. Slam Ramondre Stevenson right up the middle, gets stuffed again. Second down, I think they ran incomplete, some sort of pass play was incomplete. And then third down, they slam Ramondre Stevenson in there again and he gets stuffed. And then they end up having to settle for a field goal. But it was so frustrating. I'm like, just give Henderson the ball. It is three running back touches in the span of 5 plays on the goal line that didn't go Henderson's way. Just super, super frustrating. Probably the most angry I bet I was at my TV all Sunday. But maybe it does fare well for Henderson that Ramondre got stuffed at the goal line twice. As annoying as it is for fantasy, like if Ramondre starts getting those goal line carries and isn't producing on them, like you got to give Henderson looks. It's just frustrating that they watched Henderson score 5 touchdowns in the last 2 games and didn't decide to
Feed him.
use him on the goal line this time.
Yeah.
Trey McBride was a pretty big whiff on the week.
Michael
I know.
Wilson wasn't.
Yeah. So I know it says 40% Josh Jacobs here, but that actually was Emmanuel Wilson because I set my subs for Emmanuel Wilson and he balled. So that was a good pick right there. And see what I'm saying? 36% AJ Brown. And it's funny, the team that I had him on or had Smith on instead of him was the team that won. Hurts was my highest exposed QB on the week. That was a huge smash. Kelsey, a pretty big whiff too. But like I said, had the touchdown called back. Lamar Jackson. What are we doing with Lamar? This seemed like a great spot for him, and he just frankly, like watching Lamar these past couple weeks, like he just hasn't looked like Lamar. Like something's off. I don't know what it is, but since his injury, like he just I don't know if he's still like he's still playing hurt. He's struggling to feel things out. Like something just looks off with him to me. I don't know what it is.
With Lamar, man. I mean, let's look at what he did. I want to look at his rushing, especially.
I mean, he's had
7
11
carries for 11
yards.
yards. Not what we want to see. Derrick Henry smash. It's always good. As far as Lamar Jackson goes, I think we're probably gonna have to drop him in our rankings. What does the Ravens schedule look like rest of season? But even like before Lamar, like this team in general has just been struggling this season. It feels almost like a team thing, not even like just a Lamar thing. Like the defense at one point was a defense we were targeting, honestly. They play the Bengals, Steelers, and then Bengals again. So I mean, they don't
Those
have the
could be big
best.
spots.
I mean, they end with the Patriots, Packers, and Steelers. But I think you just gotta drop Lamar. I mean, Zay Flowers probably has to get dropped with him. I think we already did drop Zay.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just not really like a passing offense. He's not getting there on the ground. it's just not the best spot. Like, you never want to take players on struggling teams, and this is a struggling team, not a struggling Lamar, right? Because I know some Lamar truthers might get mad.
I don't know. The thing, like, the defense has been playing way better. The Ravens are they at 500 now after the win?
6-5.
6-5, yeah, over 500 now. Looking like they'll make the playoffs. So hopefully we'll see Lamar pick it up. But just, I don't know, just a little worried about him. But it is what it is. We didn't end up needing him on the team that won it. JMO, we were getting hype about JMO. Then he goes and drops a goose egg.
We didn't raise him though. We raised him a little, but I think on stream you said you wanted to see it one more time
And
before
we
we
didn't
just
see
like
it.
blast
So
him. Yep. Good shout. Oh, there's the lo-fi. And then the weekly Wandale shout finally landed this week. Love to see that. Do you think that Wandale is going to be let's look at do you want to go game by game instead of just being scattered, or how do you want to do this?
yeah. We'll go game by game. I just wanted to go through exposures real quick before we went game by game. Let me just see if there's anything else worth talking through for exposures.
Small Bijan fade, but that's just because you didn't get the third pick, right?
Yeah, Saquon, another dud week. We weren't really big on him. Yeah, see, he's only 12% Gibbs, which is below expectation, right? If you're 6 draft slots, the odds are every one of 6 picks will be 101. So I guess it's like just slightly below expectation. But we had a little more JT than Gibbs. And yeah, Devontae Smith, George Pickens. Pretty heavy on George Pickens, feels good. Weird slate of tight ends. No one really separated. So
Hunter Henry.
Yeah, Hunter Henry had the best week, but because he wasn't being drafted in a lot of these, and there were other like 6th round picks that you needed or could have had, like you could have had Emmanuel Wilson, you could have had Wandale, you could have had Hunter Henry. They were all kind of similar production from a 6th round pick, so you were able to get through this week with a weaker tight end, which is something to keep in mind for these contests. First week, we really see that. All right, let's go game by game. Gonna pull up ESPN game logs. We'll start with Steelers Bears. Bears squeaked this one out 31-28. They beat the Mason Rudolph led Steelers. Any first takeaways for you?
Caleb played pretty good. That's my immediate takeaway. Caleb played really good, actually. The Kenneth Gainwell stuff, I think like half his yards came off of like one like weird trick play. DK Metcalf got injured. Do you think he's going to be fine? Do we think it's just like a small injury? Did he end up coming back?
Yeah, he did come back into the game.
On Red Zone, so it's kind of hard to keep track of every small detail.
He came back.
I want to see if there's like any large takeaways. I mean, it's honestly just like Kenneth Gainwell and Jalen Warren remind me of K9 and Zach Charbonnet almost. Like, it's weird. I don't know. Maybe it's a bad comparison. But Kenneth Gainwell definitely has a role in this offense as the receiving back, which kind of sucks for Jalen Warren owners because, I mean, you're really just banking on that touchdown.
The touchdown to save Warren. If you weren't watching that game live, Gainwell, that should have been Gainwell's touchdown, but he got on a big play, just ruled out down at like the half-yard line. And because he had such a long run before that, he was gassed. So they put in Jalen Warren, and of course he steals the touchdown. As a Jalen Warren fantasy owner, that was kind of awesome. But yeah, definitely a situation that we might see more of a 50-50 split moving forward. I know we were really bullish on Warren rest this season, but it seemed like Gainwell has kind of worked his way back into this offense, and it doesn't seem like he's going to be going anywhere.
On the Bears side, you want to talk about Kyle Monagai? 12 to 8 carries versus Swift.
Kyle Monagai out-producing and just out-efficiencying. You like that? Yeah. I think the reason for this was the Steelers are just a little bit more of a physical defense. And they're not a team that they're a team that you're you're not going to be doing a bunch of outside runs against. Like, you're not going to be wanting to run at TJ Watt. You're not going to be wanting to run at their edge rushers. Highsmith on the other side. Over the middle is where you really want to run against these teams. And we know that Swift is obviously a little bit more of a lighter back, a little more of an outside zone runner. Manungai a little more physical, a little more in between the tackles guy. So I think that's kind of why we saw this split. I don't think it's something that is going to stick necessarily, but I think that just lets us know that maybe this running back room is a little more matchup dependent these next couple weeks. Maybe that's how we have to play it. I do think that Manungai may have taken the goal line role, though.
Probably.
Like, I don't think Swift is going to – I don't think he's going to be getting too many goal line carries rest of the season. I think the way Swift is going to get there, he's going to be getting there with receiving work. He's going to be in there with efficiency. Does this performance lower Swift for you?
I think so, but this offense is so spiky. I don't know how else to word it. There's always going to be a player in this offense who spikes week to week. It might be Rome. It might
There's
be
someone who
DJ
goes
Moore.
off.
Yeah, but I hate offenses like that because I don't like guessing when I start my lineup every week, I don't like guessing. I don't like guessing that, Roma Dunze is going to get 9 targets, but DJ Moore is going to get 2 touchdowns, right? It's really annoying. It's really frustrating. It's almost impossible to predict who's going to get what. I mean, I would love to look at that shadow report. I think Atlanta always likes to shout in our Discord, but I would love to see if the shadow report got it right this week on DJ Moore and Rome.
So Luther Burden was who the shadow report had highlighted, but Luther Burden and DJ Moore kind of play a similar role within the offense, so might have been somewhat right from what I'm seeing.
But with offenses like this, I'll take any analytical edge I can get when it comes to should I even start DJ Moore this week or should I borderline cut him, right? I think it was it Lou Dorcher Chamber or was it Frizzle who wanted to cut DJ Moore? I don't remember. Also, what's good, Tudor? What's good, Lincoln? Lincoln, if you have any questions, send them off. But I mean, it's frustrating. I'm gonna turn on a light to see if I can fix my lighting. Give me 2 seconds.
All right. Mando, to answer this Devin Neal question, I'll talk a little more about the Saints in depth when we get to their game, but there might be better pickups. He's going to be the guy, but I mean, look at what Alvin Kamara's productions looked like leaving that backfield. It's just not really an offense that's going to be super fantasy viable. Yeah, anything else to add on this Bears game is just, I think we just have to view them all as kind of boom bust when we're setting our lineups each week. You're okay benching all of these guys, but you're also okay playing them and just hoping they spike. I don't really have any major takeaways besides stuff we've been saying the last couple weeks about them. Let's go to Patriots Bengals. This was a fun one.
Surprisingly.
Drake May wasn't super sharp in this one. Ended up getting the job done. They still got the win, but a little shaky. I think Stafford may have surpassed him in MVP talks. We talked a little bit about Hendo not getting the opportunities on the goal line. Just hilarious that Ramondre Stevenson finished this game with 7 touches for 10 total yards, which is just so hilarious to me that they're still trying him out there. Bengals side of things, Chase Brown, another great game. And against a tough run D too, which was good, really good to see. And we just raised Chase Brown in our rankings, and him getting there without even needing the 6 reception day, only 2 in this game, and he still got there, was super encouraging. T. Higgins goes down. He's already been ruled out for Thanksgiving Day with a concussion. Yeah, so T. Higgins out on Thursday with a concussion. Make sure to get him out of your lineups, but was playing all right to begin with. I know a lot of people were big on T. Higgins with the Jamar Chase being ruled out this week, but I honestly wasn't super into that narrative. I know a lot of the time when a wide receiver goes down, we want to like just auto project his backup to get that same receiving workload, but that's not always how things work in the NFL. It can be really matchup dependent. And I think the wide receiver position is just really talent dependent too. Like T. Higgins is not Jamar Chase. Like he's not going to be getting the same type of targets that Jamar Chase gets, and he's still going to be doing his T. Higgins route tree, right? But with no Jamar Chase, that allows the defense to key in on him a little bit more. Like, okay, we know they're going to try to stretch the field vertically with T. Higgins. With no Jamar Chase, let's put an extra safety over the top to make sure that doesn't happen. Like, that's kind of the approach the Patriots took in this one, which I think is very smart. That's what you kind of have to do, right? Let's make Andre Yoshivas beat us. Let's make Mike Gesicki beat us. And those guys did okay, but nothing super difference making, which is kind of what I was telling people when they're asking who to start. But yeah, Yoshivas was a decent stream. Any takeaways that you have on the Bengals side of things? Jamar Chase coming back next week.
I mean, Chase should be a smash. I mean, it's not like anyone's thinking about benching him. Only takeaway I would have is like Mitch Tinsley, 6 targets. I mean, might be nice to see. I know he was like a nice little preseason guy that people liked. I think he had like one insane grab in the end zone or something. So, I guess the Bengals have like decent depth at receiver, but nothing like fantasy relevant, honestly. I think we could see a little Chase Brown second half of the season like we did last year, though. So really happy we raised him in our rankings.
Me too.
Let's move on to this Giants game. This freaking Vegas called Giants game.
One more comment on the Patriots. We shouted that we didn't love the matchup for Stephon Diggs against DJ Turner.
You shouted that. I did not shout that.
Another week of that happening though. Another week of DJ Turner shutting down the team's wide receiver 1, but tight ends once again just going nuts against the Bengals. I wish I was more on Hunter Henry in weekly drafts. All right, let's go to the other games. Let's talk about the Giants game. Was who we had next?
Can't believe they didn't kick that field goal and they just lobbed it up to it. Well, they didn't lob it up to Theo John, but they just I don't know why they went for it. It made no sense. Ugh.
Yeah, this was a fun game.
It was, surprisingly.
This was a really fun game. Jameis had the most like Jameis Winston game of all time. Like, just this is the Jameis Winston game. Like, there's no other way to describe it. He catches a receiving touchdown where he's not wide open, stiff arms the defender. Like, it was the most like athletic / unathletic play I've ever seen. And then first drive of the game, they do a flea flicker where he like makes a guy miss, throws the ball 45 yards downfield to Wandale, gets absolutely crushed, but it's just on the money. And then later in the game, he just throws an absolutely awful interception. It's just like the full Jameis Winston experience was there today. One of the most fun games of the weekend, honestly. Wandale Robinson, your boy. Go talk about your boy. How you feeling?
I'm loving the Wandale usage. I mean, it's not rocket science. When you're getting like 10 targets a game, you're bound to have a blow up game. I will say this. I'm used to Wandale being like a check down, like slant merchant, like I'm used to like the Michael Thomas usage almost with Wandale, right? Like he's normally just like a little short yardage merchant, but like I looked at the box score,
he's
right?
He's been getting used downfield, dude.
Yeah, with Jameis is airing it out. I don't know if it's a Jameis thing. I don't know if it's a Brian Dable gone thing. So I'm interested to see if this trend continues, if and when Jackson Dart comes back. Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting to see, but definitely someone who you should be considering in your flex every single week. Tyrone Tracy. Let's talk about him, bro. I have him in like 3 leagues, and I think I only started him in like 1.
I wasn't starting him either.
Was not encouraged, but dude, 3
It was all the receiving stuff. It was the receiving stuff.
He was fine on the ground too against the Lions defense too. I'm super high on the Lions
20
defense.
Carries is nice, but 62 yards on 20 carries is not good.
It's not the greatest, but it's against the Lions.
That's 6 fantasy points and then 9 fantasy points scored through the receiving stuff.
Imagine he's not doing that against the Lions, though. Imagine that's like the Bengals.
Yeah.
He's eating. Theo Johnson, I mean, another tight end. I don't know. I have like a lot of like crappy teams that I just like have a lot of players from. Theo Johnson's another one of those guys who I like. I was concerned about starting him this week though, because he hasn't really been getting the same volume as when he did with Jackson Dart, right? Like Jackson Dart, I feel like leans towards big guys for his like mid-range to long-range throws, right? Meanwhile, he'll lean on Wandale for short yardage, it feels like. So I'm really interested to see if his offensive dynamic changes. Because I mean, look at Jameis, bro, 18 completions for 366 yards. Like, Dart's not doing that. I don't think
He's
Dart's
stretching the ball
thrown for over
downfield.
250. You know?
I might have to fact check you on that, but I know he hasn't gone for 360.
I mean, you should fact check me on. I mean, I can fact check myself on the Dart stuff. I feel like I haven't seen him throw over 250 yet.
Mm-hmm. I want to talk about Wandale a little bit. Like you said, he's getting used way more downfield, which is super encouraging from Wandale. I want to see what his ADOT has been, but it just feels like his ADOT is at a place where he's like actually getting valuable downfield targets now, which is something that we haven't really ever seen out of Wandale. The last 3 years, he's averaged less than 10 yards a reception. This year, he's averaging 12 yards a reception. This year, had 100-yard game. Last 3 years, we've seen 2 already this season. I think we all kind of we think of Wandale as this like PPR scam, like sort of short yardage king, like 6 reception, 30-yard.
God damn it.
Sort of like box scores is what we expect out of Wandale Robinson, right? But if he's getting used downfield more, I think we need to reevaluate and maybe move him up a bit in the rankings. I do think a little bit of this like blow up spot for him was matchup based.
Game script too.
Matchup and game script. The Lions play a lot of man coverage, and Wandale's obviously like pretty talented receiver. He can win against man coverage. He did. And then the touchdown and 50 of the yards came on the trick play flea flicker. So, but we're still looking at a good stat line even without that play. And I don't want to discredit a play that did happen, right? But I just think
18 without it.
Yep. Yeah, situations to monitor. Let's keep looking at how he's getting used downfield. If that continues to be at a career high level, we need to evaluate moving forward, right? And we need to keep considering him in maybe more that low end wide receiver 2 range. I don't know. How high are you putting Wandale now rest of the season? And
I would have to see your tier list, but I would probably say D or C.
Okay. We can do that maybe towards the end of the stream today. Go through
but I like him over like Debo. I like him over like Marv. As crazy as the world we live in is. I think that a fantasy football takeaway though, the Giants offense is a buy low offense. I feel like if you're like a middling team trying to edge into playoffs, I think a lot of these Giants players are going to have discounts on them because people just don't like the team without Dart. They don't like the team being whatever, like 2-10 or whatever the hell they are now, right? So you can maybe find some value there. Like maybe not with Wandale anymore. It's always hard to buy a player after they drop, 20 plus points. But yeah, nice little buy low offense. Do we even want to talk about the Lions? Like Gibbs, I don't even want to talk about Gibbs.
Shout out Jahmyr Gibbs making me money in the hurry up contest once again. And is he the most talented running back in the NFL?
I mean, CMC's still there. but
like,
as far as like
not getting there because he's
talent,
like super talented right now. It's the usage. I mean, he is super talented. I'm not saying he's not, but like
Gibbs got the capital and he has the usage and he's shown, right? So I think Gibbs is definitely like I bet Tudor probably might have lost his matchup because of Gibbs. Sorry, Tudor.
That's tough.
I definitely would say right now he is not head and shoulders above Bijan, but he's definitely above Bijan as far as I'm concerned. Like, Bijan's not getting the usage. Bijan has a worse backup running back than Jahmyr Gibbs does, and yet he's still losing work. Like, it's almost like an organizational like malpractice with Bijan at this point. Whereas with Gibbs, it's like, oh yeah, you know, we spent a freaking 112 pick on Gibbs. Let's feed him the ball. Like, let's get the ball to our guys in close games.
I'm with you.
And with that said, let's get the ball to our guys in close games. JMO, 3 targets, no receptions. What's going on there? Like, is he one of their guys, or is he just like a field stretcher? Interesting stuff. If you were interested in JMO and your trade deadline is not here yet, I would consider it. I would consider getting a little dip price on JMO after he just showed us his floor again, right? And then, you know, you can buy him off the guy who I think last stream I said I feel like JMO is boom busty, and then you fact checked me on it. And you're like, he really isn't. And that's true. He really isn't. But I feel like people might still have that perception of him, which gives you an opportunity for some arbitrage, you know, some value arbitrage. Go buy him at a low, you know, because you're not going to be able to buy him if he drops 15 again, if you have like a league with no trade deadline.
Yeah. Let's get to the next game. Vikings-Packers. Do we even want to talk about this? Emmanuel Wilson stepped up. Christian Watson, wide receiver 1. JJ McCarthy. I don't know if you can start any Vikings. I guess you still have to play Justin Jefferson, but
do you?
Like, yeah, do you? Like, that's the question.
Wandale's giving me the same thing as JJ. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how crazy I was. All my boys are popping off, and it makes me happy. But we'll get to Chris Olave too, my goat, my king, my glorious king. Except for Sheet Shahid's kind of shitting the bed at the Seahawks right now. But I mean, yeah, you're getting 12 targets a game, but what are you doing with them, right? Like 12 targets a game on a bad offense. People hear that about Chris Olave, they freaking want to drop him to receiver 30. You know, he falls to the 7th round in redraft.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, at what point? And, you know, I was talking to my fantasy league that I left, and one of the trades that went through was Justin Jefferson and Travion Henderson for JT. And to that, I told the JT owner, I was like, you know, looking at that trade, there's a lot of hypothetical upside. But are you buying a name or are you buying production? At the end of the day, it's the points you put up that matter, not the names on your roster. That's all I got to say about Justin Jefferson and the Vikings. You guys probably already know how I feel about JJ McCarthy. Like, you're throwing for less than 100 yards to 2 very talented receivers and a talented tight end, talented O-line. Like, I think they should have never drafted a rookie quarterback. I don't care if it was JJ McCarthy, Michael Penix, freaking CJ Stroud. They shouldn't have drafted a rookie quarterback with this team. They're in a win now stage, not a building stage. That's my take.
There's a lot to unpack there. I don't know if I agree with you on not taking the quarterback part. I think when you're competing, having a QB on a rookie contract can be really helpful. And they didn't know that Sam Darnold was going to turn into what he was. It's hard to project that. But that's a whole different...
They could be rocking with Joshua Dobbs right now, and they'd probably have a better record.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I don't want to... I mean,
I'm waiting for Brosmer to start this weekend, dude. I really hope that JJ McCarthy does not clear concussion protocol and he starts. Mando, you should try. Depending on what you get for Justin Jefferson, right? Like, I'm not
for Josh Jacobs.
Oh, smash that right now. Go send that right now, bro.
Yeah, I would do that. Even health concerns aside.
Are you concerned about Emmanuel Wilson? Also, I remember the take we made earlier in the season where a player did so good it made us drop another player in our rankings. It was Jacoby Brissett on his first start when he threw for like 300 yards. That's what it was. We saw that happen, and then we dropped Kyler Murray in our rankings. And we're like, is that a situation with Emmanuel Wilson? Like, they gave him the ball 28 times, probably just because it was a blowout game, right?
It looks good.
Do we fear that Josh Jacobs is not going to be a workhorse? I mean, that's the main reason people like Josh Jacobs. That's like what you buy into when you get him. It's the workhorse load, the every goal line touch, you know?
Yeah, I don't know how many touches he's going to take from Jacobs. I do think with the injury that Emmanuel Wilson has definitely taken some workload. And that was kind of what I was projecting in my last rankings. I moved him down a little bit, but he's still a top 10 running back rest of the season, right? That's kind of how I'm viewing Josh Jacobs. Let's get to the next game.
Let's get to Frizzle really quick because Frizzle is tweaking off the 6-man draft. Let's tackle it from the start.
So talking about the hurry-ups or just like the underdog 6-man drafts, you can do 3 wide receivers. You can also do 2 tight ends. It's just not the most optimal build, right? Every team that I've had that's placed well in the contest and most teams that I've seen that take down the contest are 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end. Just because it's a lot easier for you to hit on the 2 running backs that have ceiling outcomes compared to hitting on 3 different wide receivers that have ceiling outcomes. Is really what it comes down to with that. You can get there with a 3 wide receiver lineup. It's just harder. It's not going to be as common.
I will say this, Frizzle, you should probably take Jawan Johnson off your ban list. I'm okay with you banning everyone else you mentioned, but Jawan Johnson, one of my Saints, one of my crappy team players that I weirdly like, keep him off the ban list.
Yeah, I don't feel great about Devin Neal, to be honest. I know he's going to be going into the lead back role, but are they really going to hand him the keys to the – you're telling me Devin Neal's not going to split touches, and then you're telling me this Saints offense is going to allow someone to be fantasy viable in the backfield that we've seen Alvin Kamara do nothing with all season? Sure. You can go pick him up, I guess.
I'd rather pick up Dameon Pierce and just pray.
To be fair, Frizzle, it's really hard to take down these tournaments if you're not like entering at least a couple shares. Think about it. It's basically like you're hitting on a 6-leg parlay. You got to take more opportunities. The odds you hit with one drafted team are so little.
It's like a raffle almost.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the next game. Seahawks Titans. Do we even need to say anything besides JSN is amazing?
I mean,
Kenneth Walker rise warranted. We were on that.
I think it's warranted. He even got more receiving usage, which is good to see.
Yep, that's back-to-back weeks now where he's been more involved in the receiving game.
AJ Barner's such an interesting player to me. Like, not someone you should be like rostering in redraft or anything, but he's very interesting. I was like listening to the Red Zone commentary on it. The fact he's their guy for the tush push and they named it the Barnyard, like that means this is a guy who like has established himself in the team culture despite them spending a 2nd-round pick on Elijah Arroyo this year. Very interesting to see long term. I'll talk about the Titans, my boys. I see, guys. I don't know why I have like an affinity towards like bad teams, guys.
You
like,
love yourself some shitty football teams.
I don't know what's like wrong with me. I don't know. Let's talk about DK, bro. Like DK was playing pretty good. I think he's probably
going to player. The return he had was nasty too. Did you see that?
The kick return, right, for like 90 something yards, but it was
it was.
Was it?
Yeah, it was like 98 yards. I'm pretty sure.
I thought I was confusing with the Ray Davis one for a second, but I did see that.
That was sick, dude.
I forget who it was. I don't know if it was one of my friends or the Discord, but apparently if you're in a league that like counts punt return yards towards the player, like DK is like a top 5 receiver.
That's insane.
Or I think he might be the number 1 receiver or like some crazy stat like that. Which is just like, that's not a bad thing, right? Like with Rashid Shaheed way back when, I had picked him up off waivers in a dynasty league because I was just like, damn, this is a good punt returner. Normally when you're a good punt returner, they'll give you some they'll give you opportunities at receiver if you're good at special teams. Like I've always like seen that weirdly with like low draft pick guys. So that's really encouraging for DK. Xavier Restrepo, as you guys know, I was kind of shouting that I hoped he would get into the lineup. Does only 2 receptions, 26 yards, 6 targets though. I think if you're in a dynasty league or in like a mega deep league, he's someone to keep an eye on. If you have a roster spot, I mean, why would you not want to go pick up, the Troy Franklin of the Titans, maybe. And I'll say this about Cam Ward. Last week, he played a better game against the Texans than we just saw Josh Allen play. You can go look at the stats.
Here we go.
Go look at him. This week, against another, he has had one of the hardest schedules in the entire league for a quarterback, with one of the worst supporting casts from the O-line to the receivers to the running backs. I think he is a very interesting player, and they are developing him the right way, right? Like I said it like week 6, right? The odds of a quarterback being successful when you're having them drop back 30 plus times as a rookie, like they all finish like QB not good. Let's put it that way, right? Very encouraging stuff to see. If there's some freaky Titans fan here, I think you have something to be excited about in Cam Ward.
Let's get to the next game.
Let's get to the questions, dude. We got a couple of questions piling up with Galaxy pickers.
All right, I'll pull up.
This is a monster trade.
This question, I know. I had this pulled up. My gut reaction is no. It just feels like a sell low on Lamb. I know we all just saw what George Pickens did, and we're panicking a little bit with CD. But I just think my take is to just chill. Like CD Lamb, still CD Lamb. He still got their targets. He didn't have a great game from a production standpoint, but that's still only the second game this year that when they've both been healthy, Pickens outproduced Lamb. They're both top 10 wide receivers rest of season. Drake London should be coming back, right?
Yeah.
Should be.
He's probably worried about the Kirk Cousins play, though. Big Kirko.
Judkins has a great running back schedule rest of season.
And Devonta Smith is more boom-busty than either of the receivers you're trading, and CMC to Judkins.
It's an upgrade, but yeah, I
feel like it's not as big as you think it is.
I think Lamb and London are the second and third best assets in this deal. I think CMC is the best. Devonta Smith is the worst, and I think you're trading the 3 middle pieces. But I think the gap from Lamb and London, I think that's worth. Or I don't think giving up those 2 is worth CMC flat straight up is what I would say. And I view Judkins and Devonta Smith like relatively similar. Yeah, I would just hold, man. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I'm holding.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
With Lamb, like, look at it with, like, the Rams, right? I would say it's pretty similar circumstance aside from the defense just being way better. They're both having top 10 receiver seasons. Good quarterbacks can support multiple 1,000-yard receivers a season, right? This is just the first time the Cowboys have seen CeeDee Lamb have a competent receiver too, right? CeeDee's pulling the better corner, I'm assuming, most of the time.
That wasn't really the case in this one. Pickens was actually drawing Quinion Mitchell for a lot of the game, which was really actually, for the Pickens standpoint of things, like that makes me pretty bullish on Pickens, is that the Cowboys were still going to Pickens when the team's best corner was on him. So that's not necessarily true, the Lamb matchup thing. Just
fair enough.
Something I noticed.
But let's just say instead of CeeDee Lamb, you put Devontae Adams' name there. I still wouldn't do that trade.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
Let's put it that way. That's more agreeable, more universal. You can visualize it a little better. I don't like it. My RB room is Brees, Woody, Sean Tucker, Guy. So I need Devin Neal to save my team. Do you need Devin Neal to save your team? Because I kind of like all those running backs better than Devin Neal, Frizzle.
Yeah.
But with that said, waiver wire pickups aren't going to get much better than Devin Neal rest of the season. I mean, we're in week 13 now, and it's not going to get much better than that. So
I don't think I would do this, Bugs Bunny.
I was gonna say you're gonna have to ask it because I have too much bias against BTJ. I'm like known
It's
BTJ
just-
hater.
What are we getting with BTJ? He's just not someone I really want to acquire right now. I'm sure it's a buy low, but I would be more approaching it as like a buy low in Dynasty rather than a buy low in redraft. Like at this point, I've kind of given up on him for this year. He's dealing with the injury. The Jags have shown these last couple weeks that they just want to be a super run heavy offense. I mean, Trevor Lawrence threw 3 picks this last game. I think they want to. The key to the Jaguars winning is not from Trevor Lawrence airing it out, right? So I think we're just going to see a lot more negative game scripts moving forward. They got Jacoby Myers now, they got Parker Washington, who those are 2 guys that have looked pretty good these last couple of weeks. I just don't know how much Brian Thomas is going to be relied upon when he comes back this season.
Trevor Lawrence is the 5th most paid quarterback in the league right now.
Worst contract in football, him or Tua?
Damn, they're right next to each other. I mean, Tua's getting 60 mil less. At least Tua's, I mean, I don't even know, man. Honestly, I would say Trevor Lawrence is the worst one. They've built way better around him. They have a way better defense, and he still isn't giving you anything.
Fair enough. Let's get to this Colts-Chiefs game.
Frizzle. Frizzle is a little psychopath.
Daniel Jones. Womp womp. How worried are we about the Daniel Jones experience?
He didn't even play that bad. Like, yeah, they lost, but like in terms of fantasy, like he gave you like 17 points, no picks, little calm bounce back, low QBR.
I don't think he played good at all, to be honest. I think the Colts like game plan, like it seemed like they were very scared of having Daniel Jones just drop back and beat. Like they were very conservative throughout the game. They didn't seem like they had a lot of trust in him. And I think that's now a couple games where the run game has been not really there, and Jones has really struggled without that run game.
That's a good point. Let me ask you this. What are the Colts going to do if he doesn't show up for them? Because they have no picks. They can't draft a quarterback. They have what seems to be a bust in Anthony Richardson so far. What other choice do they have but to ride with Danny?
I mean, I think he's re-signed, and I think they hang on to A-Rich and they just roll with the same quarterback room next year. I just am saying, like, I don't know how much money Daniel Jones is going to get and how many years guarantee he's going to get if this becomes a trend, right? If we see, like, say this is the playoffs, the Colts lose this game in the Chiefs' first round of the playoffs, Daniel Jones, bad game, like, do they instantly just give him a 3-year, $100 million deal after that? Like, does he get the Sam Darnold contract? Does he get less? I don't know. Just interesting to think about. For as far as that's more real life NFL stuff. For fantasy purposes, like, not panicking on Jonathan Taylor at all. Tough matchup. The Chiefs are very good against running backs. And they were kind of daring Daniel Jones to beat them, and he didn't. Do we see that as more of a trend moving forward against this Colts team? Maybe. But then I think, I don't know.
I want to ride with Daniel Jones. I've seen more good than bad out of him this season.
That's fair. All right.
Everyone goes through a tough spot. Let's look at Frosty. Frosty's saying some, I want to say blasphemy, but I don't think it's that blasphemous.
Ooh!
I think Caleb Williams will work out. This receiving core needs to step up, though. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, Roma Dunze, like, he's frustrating, man. Like, he's so talented, but he just, like, I think we're a year or two away from really seeing Rome like smash. Like I still love the talent, and I think that this team really likes him, but I think they're all kind of still figuring this offense out.
I was about to say something blasphemous. Is Rome reminding you of Treylon Burks?
No, not at all. That is blasphemous. You even suggest that. Ramaduzzi probably has more yards in like 5 games this year, his top 5 games this year, than Treylon Burks has had his whole NFL career. Would you start Pittman rest of the season? Yeah, I think you still start Pittman. This wasn't a great spot for him. Like, as a Michael Pittman owner, I didn't feel I benched him in a couple leagues actually in this spot, but I think he's just a little more boom bust. But that's kind of the nature of those wide receiver 2-3s, right? Like, you're gonna get weeks where they score a touchdown and get you 16, 18 points, and you feel great, and they're gonna get other weeks where they score you sub 8, and you're like, what the hell's going on? You just gotta play the matchup sometimes with these wide receivers. Pittman or Odunze rest of season for you, Yash?
I believe in Daniel Jones, so I believe in Pittman by extension. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. If you believe in Daniel Jones being an average to good quarterback in the NFL, and you don't think, the first 9 weeks of the season were just luck, I think you got to ride with Pittman, keep him in your top 18 receivers, right? But if you don't believe in Daniel Jones, I think you just got to move off him while he still has that value of, 8 targets, 5 receptions, and a tud, right? Like, that's very attractive to people. That's what Cortland Sutton should realistically be giving you if I had to make a player comp. So that's how I would word it. So I'm with Pittman right now, just because I don't like how, I said it earlier, I don't like how uncertain this Bears offense is in terms of who is going to boom. So yeah.
For sure.
And Frizzle. Clearly you are not listening to our advice.
We told you to ride out with Hendo, Frizzle. We told you to ride it out, man.
And the Emmanuel Wilson drop was very reasonable. I mean, Jacobs is made of steel, so.
Sometimes fantasy is just a matter of getting lucky, dude.
And honestly, Blake Corum over Jordan Mason, I don't even hate that for you. I mean, look at what Jordan Mason's doing. Like, Jordan Mason had one good week?
Yeah.
I wouldn't even be kicking yourself over that.
Frosty. We were talking about him a bit ago. It is a little worrisome him not getting there, but it's just kind of the nature of this Lions offense. It was a Gibbs and Monra day. It was clearly the game plan to get those guys the ball. I think also too the Monra blow up game was pretty predictable for me. Like, it had been a couple weeks since he had really had a big game because there's been so many big JMO games, and it's not Monra's not going to get outproduced by Jameson Williams every week, right? It was a blow up spot.
I did not see that, by the way, Tudor.
Oh, I saw this.
Is that real? I just looked it up. I can't see it.
You didn't see it?
I don't see it anywhere now.
I think it was on an Instagram story or something. Michael Wilson, the Rico Dowdle of wide receivers. Crazy shout, but it might actually be accurate.
All I have to say about that is when players do good, like Michael Wilson, like Jacoby Brissett, it makes you really call into question what the hell's going on with Marv, man. I've seen Michael Wilson give me more showing of talent these past 2 weeks than I've seen Marv do his entire career so far. It's so frustrating. And are you buying a name or are you buying production? That should be my tagline. I like it though. Michael Wilson's definitely a good pickup. I missed on that. Can we talk about Greg Dortch though? Because Greg Dortch, I heard shout on the broadcast. He is one of the he has like the highest percentage of like not dropping the ball or something like that. I don't know why Greg
Catch
George
rate.
has that. He has like a 90% like catch rate or something ridiculous like that.
Shout out old reliable Greg Dortch.
Dude, Greg George, I've always loved him deep down. He'll always give you one random 15-point week, normally at the beginning of the season.
Facts. Let's talk about these Chiefs. Mahomes doesn't get there through the touchdowns. Has a good game for the yardage. Kareem Hunt once again falls in the end zone. Your boy Rashee Rice, 8 for 141.
As soon as I said something in the
Yeah.
Discord, man, I literally set
Yeah.
that off in my Discord. In the back of my head, I'm like, I know. Since I said something, he's gonna double his freaking score, man. Ugh. The Rashee Rice usage is so interesting, though. Like the way they use him, like
Screen merchant for sure. But it's
he's like a
great for
Wandale
fantasy.
slant screen merchant, bro. He's a running back at receiver. It's so like strange.
Yeah, but he's got the yak ability that Wandale
that's-
does not have. That's what separates
That's like
the two.
the bonus, right?
Mhm.
So it's really weird, and those are players I personally don't love, right? Like, I mean, I guess a good player comp would be like Prime Debo, right?
It's good for the floor though.
Yeah,
Like we know Rashee Rice is gonna get 5 to
targets.
7 receptions every week.
yeah. Hey, Xavier Worthy with 8 doesn't do much.
Yeah,
does it?
I was just gonna say Xavier Worthy. We encouraged by this performance at all? 8 targets, 4 for 59. Like, it's not anything super amazing, but considering what we've been getting from Worthy these last few weeks, like I'll take anything we can get.
I'm still not sold on Worthy.
Talking
I
about
mean, I feel like that's more of like a game script thing, and that's an interesting question. I think he's probably going to be going
1-2
round
turn.
1, round 2. Yeah.
1-2 turn. I know the Rashee Rice slappies are real, but like they might make him they might bring him up a bit. But I can see him going like kind of where BTJ was going this year.
Yeah. Because Neighbors is going to go round 1 still, maybe round 2
No,
or
I
early
think
round
Neighbors
2.
will be like mid 2. He'll get like the injury. He'll be cheap, and then he'll get priced up when like training camp comes around and we start getting like Malik Neighbors looks to be 100% like reports and so forth. But he's gonna get the injury dip just because the market always does that with injured players.
I already know it's going to be JSN, Jamar, Puka, then CMC, then Gibbs, then JT somewhere in
Gibbs
there.
might Gibbs might pass
six.
CMC.
I'm just naming like the top 6 off like the
Bijan
dome.
still. You got A-Chain, JT.
I don't know. Bijan might fall to end of round 1, maybe beginning of round 2. I think he
don't
might
think
get some
so.
Derrick Henry treatment.
No.
I think it might go where Genty went.
No, because what's going to happen is Raheem Morris is going to get fired. They're going to bring in a new offensive coordinator. Tyler Allgeier's contract is up. They're going to let Tyler Algier walk. This new regime's going to come in and be like, yeah, Bijan Robinson needs to be touching the ball 20 times per game. And he's going to get that, oh, like this is the Bijan year. He's actually going to get the ball this year. And he's going to get that hype and get projected.
Let me say this, guys. Let me say this. This is a guy. Here's a guy who, in our first or second year of our Dynasty League, tanked to the 101, drafted Kyle Pitts. The next year.
Wait. That is not what happened. I did not take Kyle Pitts 101 in our Dynasty.
You took him like
I took him in No, I was in the startup draft. I started Javonte Williams, who never late, just early, and Kyle Pitts on the 1-2 turn as our startup draft.
Oh, you named your team after Pitts. That's what it was. Smelly Pitts.
It was
Then
our
the second
first
year.
rookie draft after massively busting on Javonte Williams and Kyle Pitts. I tanked and snagged Bijan Robinson 101 that year.
So, I mean, I get a bunch of flack for, being a secretive, Saints and Titans fan at this point. But here's a guy who might be a secret Falcons fan, bro. Like, I don't know.
Bijan's a dog, bro. I'm just telling you what the market's gonna do with Bijan. Like, The prophecy I just told, you're gonna see it come to fruition because Raheem Morris is gone. Like he's not coming back as the Falcons head coach. You can just book it now. Yeah, I think the 1-2 turn is gonna be real nice, Frosty. If I'm getting Bijan Robinson at the 1-2 turn, I'm taking him every time.
Mm-hmm. The 1-2 turn should be fun. Probably better than this year's 1-2 turn. There were so many busts in the first, second round this year.
Yeah, it was bad. Let's get to another game.
Raiders.
We got Jets Ravens is the next. We already kind of talked about the Ravens, so I don't know if I even need to get into this anymore. Let's talk about the Jets.
Yeah. John Mechie.
John Mechie, 6 for 65 in a tug. Nice performance. 80 Mitch, 7 targets, 2 receptions. Classic Adonai Mitchell right there. Breece Hall, pretty solid game. I don't really have any major fantasy takeaways.
I do. I think John Mechie is going to be the guy. I'm already sending out dynasty trades for John Mechie right now. I'm really high on him in terms of his role in this offense. I think that right now they're really I think we're looking at a receiver competition for next year right now. Like Garrett Wilson is a given. He's going to be receiver 1 next year, right?
Yeah.
But right now, everyone was so hyped about AD Mitch coming to the Jets, right? Everyone loved him in college, right? You know who else everyone loved in college? John Mechie. You know who else was supposed to go first round? John Mechie. They both have such somewhat. So I mean, obviously, AD Mitch ain't battling leukemia, right? But they both have similar backstories in terms of how their careers have gone, right? Both supposed to be first round picks, fall to the second round for whatever reason, right? Both don't really get an opportunity on their team. The difference is John Mechie catches the football, and I feel like that's really what the Jets want to see. They don't want to have a guy who goes out there. What does 7 targets do if you only catch 2? And we saw this trend kind of manifesting last game. John Mechie caught all 3 of his targets and got the tud on top, right? You want reliable receivers. You don't want bumps. The Jets have drafted a tight end, I think 3 years in a row now. I think their past 2 have been 5th round picks or whatever. So I feel like they're really trying to boost this offense, especially after Aaron Rodgers came in, brings in Alan Lazard and Randall Cobb. They're going to do something. So, I mean, John Mechie usage is really encouraging, and I think if you have a bummy receiver on your bench like Cooper Kupp, even Rashid Shaheed, as much as I love my boy, and now he's going to drop 20 points because I just told you guys he's might be worth dropping for John Mechie. It's encouraging. I mean, Breece Hall is doing Breece Hall things. I think Anthony hit it on the head. I don't think Breece Hall is going to quit on the team because he wants to, really earn a good contract wherever he ends up going if he ends up leaving this team.
Yeah, I think this is his tryout for other teams right now. In a
Derrick
sense.
Henry usage is good too.
Yeah. Frosty asked, what do we think Rico's stat line will be tonight? We're going to do a full preview on the game tonight once we finish recapping these games, where we'll try to get through these next couple pretty quickly. Only 4 games or 5 games left to get through.
Sorry, guys, I'm like a yapper when it comes to the game takes.
For real, talking about Cam Ward for 10 minutes earlier. Just kidding.
Dude,
but
no one else is talking about the Titans. That's why I feel like I need to talk about the bad teams, bro, because no one's covering the bad teams.
Sneak peek though, when we're talking about stuff for tonight, I really love this spot for Rico Dowdle tonight, to be completely honest. I'll get more into the depth, more into the nitty-gritty with that analysis, but I'll just say this. 49ers defense, we already know they're injured, and it just got even more injured. They're now on the 3rd string middle linebacker.
Oh, what the hell? I just got this weird headache, bro.
Thinking about that Niners run D.
Yeah, probably, man.
Let's talk about Shador. He balled.
Honestly, yeah. He
Like,
heard my trash talk, bro. Me telling him he wasn't gonna pass for more than 200 yards.
they didn't ask him to do much, but he did what they asked him to do. 11 for 20, not super efficient. Only took one sack, threw a pick that was pretty awful. I cannot lie. Geno Smith on the other side of things did what Geno Smith does and takes 10 sacks. Just unbelievable stuff. Myles Garrett finishes with 3 sacks, going to break the sack record. We bet Myles Garrett 1.5 sacks in the Discord for plus money, and that cashed with ease. Looking at the Raiders side of things, Ashton Genty, we were early on this, getting used in the receiving game, 8 for 58 and a touchdown through the air. Has a fantasy viable day because of that. Ashton Genty, Judkins.
Right? I think he dropped like 24.
Genty?
Yeah.
Yeah, Genty and Judkins were the only fantasy viable players in this matchup, and that's kind of what we expected, right? Jerry Jeudy with the most Jerry Jeudy stat line ever, 1 reception for 39 yards and a fumble. If you weren't watching, that play was actually hilarious. That was just like the story of Jerry Jeudy's career.
What was he doing, man?
Wide open, just hits like the little pre-juke skip, and just gets a ball poked out from behind him and didn't even see the guy. It was hilarious. But I don't want to talk about this one anymore because I'm just going to get depressed talking about my Raiders who lost to Shedeur Sanders. Let's get to Jaguars cards. Jacksonville side of things, I guess the Bayshore 2 and stuff from last week was all fake because ETN just clear RB1 again this week. Like, what the hell? How do you go from splitting the backfield almost 50-50 to then just turn the keys back to ETN?
It was like 60-30,
but ETN clearly outproduced Tuin, averaged 5.7 on the ground compared to Tuin's 2. ETN was the guy who was using the receiving game, and he produced. Good game from ETN. Good game from ETN. Was a nice spot against the Cardinals. Parker Washington got you there. 5 for 71 and a touchdown. Pretty good day for him. Brenton Strange comes back and goes 5 for 93. I think the offense needed him back. Just looked a little better with him. Jacoby had a good day, 4 for 50 and a touchdown. And then other side of things, Michael Wilson, dude, 10 for 118. No touchdown this week, but getting you over 20 PPR points now in back-to-back weeks. How high? How high are we on Michael Wilson? When Marv comes back, is it just going to go back to the shadow realm, or where are you going to be projecting him out rest of the season?
I think you can put him in like the top 30 receivers for sure. I don't want to get too crazy with it with Marv coming back because Marv will demand a target share. But I think we could probably safely project Michael Wilson for like a 6 to 7 target a week guy. And honestly, that's good for a flex, you know? Like, I wouldn't mind that. That's giving you more than Jordan Addison is, you know? So I like him. I mean, we talked about it a couple years ago how Michael Wilson was like sneaky good, right? So it's kind of nice to see him. Dude, you get why did much? So it's kind of nice to see Michael Wilson actually like play good, you know. But wait, no snoring. Okay. I'm thinking about Mojo now. I want to go to the Jags again though, because
all right.
Brenton Strange should be a waiver wire pickup for you this week. He probably is on your waivers if he wasn't picked up last week prior to the game. Preseason, I was kind of high on Brenton Strange. I really liked him compared to where he was going in drafts. Like, he was going super late in drafts.
Yeah, he was someone I got a lot of in Underdog, and that feels pretty nice right about now.
So I think, like, as far as like the tight end landscape goes, I think he probably falls into that Theo Johnson tier. I think it's like our C tier on our rankings because we have Trey McBride in his own tier. Honestly, I feel like we should drop Brock Bowers. Hindsight. I know we just skipped over that Raiders game, but I
Yeah.
feel like Brock Bowers might need to fall down to like Harold Vanden. Like I don't I hate the fact I spent an early draft pick on Brock Bowers, man. Like it really hurts. It really stings. Injury aside. Like
Yeah.
I am discounting that 40-point game. I don't care. I'm pretending like it didn't happen. Like, got freaking Tyler Lockett as your leading receiver. Which, by the way, I did shout that, and I'm very upset that that's true. Like, I'm just gonna get that out of the way too. Like, disgusting. And something I'm now realizing is that Trey Tucker had 10 targets this game for 3 receptions. I did not even see that in any box score. I think last minute benched him. Because I just didn't feel comfortable starting 2 Raiders. But back to the Jags, I think that Parker Washington is very startable. Even if and when Brian Thomas Jr. comes back, I feel like we might see more production out of Parker Washington than we will BTJ. Because I think Parker Washington operates out of the slot, or is he just all over? Is he more of an out guy?
Mainly slot, but he does a little bit of both.
So I think it's really encouraging. It also kind of just makes me question like the Jacoby Myers acquisition. But yeah, I think we should move on.
Yeah, let's try to be quick through these last 3, Josh. Eagles, Cowboys, Saquon, 10 for 22. My big takeaway is this Dallas run defense with the addition of Quentin Williams, Logan Wilson. Like, this isn't a gimme run defense anymore. I think we still target this team through the air, but I think I'm a little more skeptic on running backs facing this Cowboys team moving forward. Receiving side of things, A.J. Brown, we shouted that he's better against man coverage. Dallas plays man coverage. Great day for fantasy. 6 for 110 and a touchdown. Should have had 2 touchdowns, but he's too busy trying to score touchdowns rather than getting his feet in bounds. Jalen Hurts gets 2 tush-push touchdowns. 289 and a touchdown through the air. Saquon saves his day with the receiving stuff. Cowboy side of things, we already kind of talked about at the beginning of stream, but great day for George Pickens. CeeDee Lamb still at 11 targets despite only going 4 for 75. Javonte doesn't score the touchdown, but gets there from a yardage perspective. Nothing I'm really changing after this game on terms of my rankings. Maybe moving up AJB slightly, but even then I don't really think I'm doing that. Any major takeaways from you before we move on?
Smitty looks like the more talented receiver. Javonte Williams is still running touchdown cold. Might be a good buy low. Honestly, I mean, he's still giving you like 80 yards a game, I think. Like, is Pickens the new receiver 1? I know Frizzle's worried because Pickens is listed as a non-participant today for practice. I just saw that. Yeah, I mean, they're playing it safe. I mean, he's a great receiver. Why make him practice,
Yeah. I don't think he's the new wide receiver 1. I think it's a 1A, 1B. Mm-hmm. I do think it's encouraging for Pickens. Like I was talking about a little bit how Dak felt comfortable going to Pickens when he was matched up against Quinyon Mitchell, right? It's not like Dak's just like, okay, Quinyon Mitchell's on CD, like Pickens has a better matchup. I'm going to look for Pickens. Like, no, with the fate of the game on the line, they were looking for George Pickens against the other team's best corner, which that part is super encouraging. For CD's side of things, like he still had 11 targets. He still outproduced Pickens in all but 2 games this year where they've both been on the field. Like, I think it's more – my takeaway is more I'm bullish on Pickens, less than like I'm worried about CD. My rest of season rankings coming into this week, I had CD and Pickens right next to each other, and that's my same projection rest of season. They're both top 10 wide receivers. Pickens might outproduce Lamb some weeks. Lamb's going to outproduce Pickens other weeks. I have Lamb still 1 spot ahead of him.
I'll make this take. I would consider very strongly trading away CeeDee Lamb right now because he's still giving you good production. He still has amazing name value, but you could probably get a JT for CD still right now. You could
I don't
probably
think
get a
so.
CMC JT. I wouldn't get Bijan. Achan, maybe Gibbs if you add on, right? And I would be preferring those players over CD. I think if you traded CD while he was injured this season, you're probably sitting happy, depending on the return you got, and the production you got in the short term.
Yeah.
Let's move on. But yeah, Smitty looks way better than AJ Brown. Oh my god, I'm sure everyone saw the freaking pass where he's like he's literally plinking when he caught that ball. Like, oh my
That was
god, he's
nuts. Him and
so
George
talented.
Pickens had some incredible catches. Helped me take down 15th in the hurry up. So shout out to those guys. Falcon Saints. I mean, Bijan only 16 touches once again. Tyler Algier once again a major thorn in the
your
side. I'm not changing anything moving forward. Chris Olave is still very good. We talked about Devin Neal a little bit, but I just don't think this is a backfield I want many pieces of. Even if he's the guy, his receiving workload is nice. If that sticks, then maybe. But we've talked about all year how Kellen Moore offenses don't like throwing to the running backs that much, so I don't think that's something that will necessarily stick. The Falcons are like one of the best defenses to target for running back receiving yards, so I think that's more my takeaway with that. Anything else before we move on from you, Yash?
Jawan Johnson's still a good pickup. Chris Olave still a dog. Devon Vele 7 targets. Just gonna say that I think he had a lot of targets the other game too. Maybe I don't remember for certain, but interesting guy. Especially if you're having Tyler Shuck drop back 43 times. So let's move on.
Frizzle, I'll talk about that prop when we get to the Monday Night Football preview. We got one more game before we do that. Rams Bucks. Really disappointing game. Baker Mayfield goes down with injury. Teddy Bridgewater comes in and looks awful.
QBR 9.7.
Yeah. Sean Tucker out carries Rachaad White, out touches Rachaad White. Doesn't really matter. Rams just decided to air the ball out all game. Kyron Williams and Corum only get 19 carries combined, and a lot of those were in that end of the game. Devontae Adams, 2 touchdowns, 5 for 62. Puka once again outgains, out targets Devontae, but Devontae's the guy that gets used in the red zone. So, yeah, anything you're changing about your rankings moving forward? Maybe Emeka Egbuka. We lowered him last week. Do we keep lowering him, or is this just kind of a Bucks weird game script with Baker going down thing?
I don't even think it's like a
too.
I was going to say, I feel like it's more of a tough defense thing. I'm worried about Baker being out, though, especially with what we just saw from Teddy. But I would assume they're going to try to get him back before the postseason. Are they still in the postseason race? I think this loss really hurts them.
No, they're still in the playoffs. They're still in a good spot to win their division as of right now.
Yeah, but if they lose out, I think they might.
I guess now they're competing with the Panthers for the division.
I think it was Frizzle, Panthers, Texans, bro. It's going to happen, bro. Crazy Super Bowl.
Yeah, not going to happen, boys. I'm sorry.
I would actually throw up if that happened, but it would be a fun storyline.
All right. Any takeaways before we move on? Yeah, this is the last one. This is Sunday night.
Yeah, nothing too crazy for the Rams. Still love Puka. Wouldn't worry about Kyron too much. I think Anthony said it in the Discord. I mean, Matthew Stafford's arm is what happened, you know?
Yeah, the Bucks just couldn't stop Stafford and the Rams pass catchers, so they had no reason to run the ball. Why waste your time running at Vita Vea when they can't cover Devontae Adams or Puka? All right, let's get to Monday Night Football. Finally done recapping all those games. Make sure to fire off any questions you guys have about Monday Night Football. Any props you're maybe looking at, any bets. We'll get into our best lines and picks that we like. Make sure to drop a like on the stream, y'all. Drop a sub. Join the Discord. Frosty,
Yeah.
we thought that was like I don't know if you might have hopped in the stream after I ranted
little
about
late.
that, but I went on about a 5-minute rant about that sequence and how that was the most pissed I was all Sunday and how I was screaming at my TV when Ramondre Stevenson was given 2 goal line touches. Immediate talks on the game before we really dive into it. You want to give a pick on the money line, pick on the spread, pick on the total?
Let me look at them.
I'm sharing it.
I know, I'm looking at it. I think the total might be an over. Spread, I think the Panthers can cover. And as a Niners fan, I'm taking the Niners. But things could get freaky. This is going to be a heat check for Bryce Young.
Does it worry you that 35% of the money from the public is being put on the Panthers compared to only 15% of the bets?
Yeah,
so
that means
clearly
all
the sharps are hammering the Panthers.
All the whales.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think the Panthers, I mean, that's a really big spread for them to think that the Niners are going to win by more than a touchdown.
Yeah, I like the Panthers to cover.
Purdy probably will drop 20. We've been seeing a lot of teams. Like, it's weird. Like, teams are getting into, like, really high-scoring games with the Panthers. Let me make sure I'm not talking completely out of my butt, but it's felt that way.
I got Niners winning. I got Panthers covering. I got over 48.5. Those are my predictions for this one. Let me know if you got what you guys think in the chat. Drop your picks on the money line, the spread, and the total. Well, let's get into some player props.
Looking at this Panthers game log is so interesting.
First, I want to pull up Rico Dowdle. Let's start with fantasy score. So let's look at over fantasy score in 2025. So we pull this up and we instantly see a lot of red. Now I know that doesn't make you feel super encouraged, but let's keep in mind that first 4 weeks don't really count because Chuba Hubbard was obviously still the lead back at that point. And then this Jets-Buffalo stretch here was when Chuba was kind of still being involved as like a 1B sort of runner. So really as the starter, I really only count Miami, Dallas, Green Bay, New Orleans, and Atlanta for Rico, right? It's really only these 5 games where he's been the true running back one. So that's just something we need to keep in mind when we're looking at these numbers, right? What do you think about the fantasy score first for? Do you like this over here?
What is it? Let me zoom in.
16 PPR points.
Oh, PPR?
Mm-hmm.
I think I like it. I'm like looking at this game log, and I feel like the most similar game scripts would be the Dolphins and the Cowboys, right? You're playing against a team that has a somewhat high-powered offense. I know people don't really love the Dolphins, right? But, I mean, they put up points against bad teams. And I feel like the Niners are kind of falling into, like, that Cowboys territory almost at this rate. Yeah, I mean, we love a good CMC revenge game against the Panthers, but, I mean, he gonna drop 20 regardless of who it is. And if you recall, the Dolphins game and the Cowboys game are where he dropped like 30 fantasy points, Rico Dowdle.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think he's dropping 30 this week? I hope not. I hope he doesn't. But could I see it happening against this Niners defense? I mean, honestly, their offense, because their offense will get down the field and they will kick field goals by the very least. Yeah, I could see him going over 16 points.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to pull up the rushing and receiving yards.
Need a 50 bomb from Ted McMillan to win. Please no. I'm playing Ted this week, Brad. No.
So The Niners are currently about middle of the pack in rushing yards allowed per game, 22 in receiving yards allowed per game to running backs, which is another reason why I kind of like playing it through the fantasy score, because that gives you a bunch of outs, right? That's just hoping for the Rico Dowdle good game. That covers all your bases with rushing yards, receiving yards, and him scoring a touchdown or two. And I want to talk about this Niners defense. We know they're super injured, right? Do we know how injured they are? Look at this injury report. Obviously, we know Brandon Ayuk's out. Robert
It's
Beal,
bad, man.
D lineman out. Tatum Bethune, who's the linebacker who's been filling in for Fred Warner, backup middle linebacker, he's now out too. So you're now on your third string middle linebacker. Nick Bosa's on IR. We know that. Kevin Givens, another D lineman. I don't think this guy plays. Gross Matos, he's been on IR. Taron Jackson, another D lineman on IR. Pinero out. None of these guys really matter. Fred Warner on IR. Michael Williams, another guy on IR. I think what we list like 6 D linemen who are out. The starting and second stream linebacker out. I think the Panthers are going to be able to keep it close. That being said, I think I just ultimately trust the Niners offense a little more. And that's kind of why I prefer them in this spot. Let's go to some. So let's add I'm going to pull it up on Underdog. And we're going to build this slip out. I'm probably going to lock this in on Prize Picks just because we get a little better scoring format for the fantasy points since it's full PPR rather than half. But we're going to start building out the slip as we go. So we'll first start off with Rico Dowdle fantasy score. Let's go to some Niners props. Let's start with Christian McCaffrey. I saw someone say Christian McCaffrey revenge game, which is, I can see it. Let's look at what Christian McCaffrey's done from a receiving standpoint. This one really pops. Over 45.5 receiving yards. He's hit this in almost every game so far this season. Only gone under twice. And those games he went under were against Houston, who we know is tough, and Arizona, who blowout game script wasn't really needed. What do you think about this receiving yards number for Bijan? Is this something you like?
For CMC, what is it at? 45.5 against the Panthers. How have running backs been doing against the Panthers for receiving? I know they haven't played a lot of receiving backs.
They're about middle of the pack. Bijan did go for 39 receiving yards. Kamara went for 32. Isaiah Davis went for 22. Breece Hall went for 14 a couple weeks ago. That's the most recent and relevant. Let's look at does all the wide receivers now being healthy kind of influence this receiving number for you?
It does a little bit. I'm really interested to see how Ricky does this week.
In games with Brock Purdy, he's also over in 2 of 3.
That's good to know too. I don't know. The Panthers, we perceived them as a really good run defense at one point, didn't we? And that ended up not being true.
No, they've been
recently,
carved up. Yeah.
Right? So it makes me more worried for the CMC receiving usage, right? I think it might be more of a rushing game for him, or sneakily even Brian Robinson Jr. I could see maybe getting 20 yards or whatever, right? 20, 30 yards. So I don't love that line for CMC. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's I think it's priced correctly. Let's put it that way. And I'm looking at 2 of these comments. And I'll say this to RJ, and I know that I think it was Frosty earlier who was saying he wants to move CD. I think the Pickens injury stuff is not real. He's not going to miss a game. I mean, it's just a guy being banged up after a football game where he just caught the ball 9 times and was doing the most, competitive football game. Let the starters, rest up if they're banged up, With that said, You might have some guys in your league who see this and they're like, "Oh, Pickens hurt. CD going drop 30." You know. So it's almost like an excellent sell window for CD if you wanted to get rid of him. And RJ, I'm getting rid of CD for either a top 5 running back, even if I have to add on like a Khalil Shakir to my CD to get JT or Gibbs, or I'm trading CD down for 2 receivers that I like a lot, like Devontae Adams and no one has Devontae Adams and Justin Jefferson, but I would definitely want like a top 12 receiver paired with a top 20 to 18 receiver. I appreciate the reassurance because my goat. I knew what I was getting on draft night. Hey man, I've been trying to I got Pickens in a dynasty league and I was trying to sell him at one point and I refused to take a first round pick for him and I got a lot of flack for that at the time. And I don't think I'd let him go for a first round pick now. I think he's definitely like in a really high tier right now. I mean, he's like what, top 3 receivers in receiving yards right now after this game?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Let's talk about CMC touchdown. I think he scores just flat out. He's over in he's over in 7 of 11 this year. And when you look at the matchups he didn't score, Seattle, one of the best run defenses in the NFL. Arizona, I think this one is more just fluky. The Niners kind of played really bad this game, if I'm remembering correctly. And he scored 3 touchdowns yesterday against Arizona. So I think this first one was just a little fluky, to be honest. Houston, one of the other best run defenses in the NFL. And the Rams, who, shocker, another one of the best defenses in the NFL for running backs. All the teams he didn't score against are top 10 on terms of running back touchdowns given up. Carolina's pretty middle of the pack. Actually, like slightly favorable, 19th worst matchup or best matchup. Top 13 easiest matchup. I don't know, but they've allowed three touchdowns to running backs last week in this Atlanta backfield. They allowed Josh Jacobs to score against them. I'm not even going to count these New Orleans guys just because that offense is pretty uncomparable. They allowed James Cook to score twice. And then the Jets, no one scored either. But you're looking at like all the good offenses, good running backs. They've been able to score against this Carolina team. I think CMC gets his way into the end zone tonight. I also was thinking about just adding this 3.5 receptions to him as kind of like a parlay builder. We add that, get a little extra juice on the payout, and I just feel like this 3.5 number's pretty free, to be completely honest with you. Anything else you want to add, or should we just lock in this 3-man right here? This feels pretty good.
You're on the outlier screen. What's your 3-man?
My bad. So it's Rico Fantasy, CMC Tug, and CMC 3.5 receptions.
I think CMC Tug and Rico Fantasy are a lot nicer than the receptions, but I see what you mean with the receptions. I think it could be pretty free. I mean, I don't think
he's gone over in every game.
Yeah. I just was I was kind of zoned out because CMC for 2 touchdowns by halftime. I wouldn't be surprised if every 49ers touchdown goes to CMC tonight.
Yeah, well, maybe do a build with CMC 2 touchdowns and maybe like someone on the Panthers to score. So we can do like a little more of like a lottery slip. But this is probably like this is the nuke slip right here.
Because you pointed out those Saints running backs, and I just noticed that Audric Estime is on the Saints.
Interesting shout.
I just peeped that, and I was like, I mean, I know everyone's penciling Devin Neal to be like the guy next week, but like, don't sleep on Audric, bro. Like that kind of makes me very opposite of a bull. Is I'm in econ and finance, guys. I should know this. I'm blinking, guys. But I'm very low I'm a little lower on Devin Neal.
Yeah, I am too, to be completely frank. A slip we sent to the Discord, or one of the player props we hit, cashed easy.
Bearish.
Corey Mincy points assist. Too bad Darian Williams on Texas Tech sold us this morning. Anyways, any other players are worth looking into? Do you want to look at some Kittle stuff? Some Ricky Pearsall, Tetaroa?
I would
Any other
like to look at
Let us know in the
Kittle's-
chat if there's any props you guys were looking
Let's look at the receivers, mostly because I always am interested about how the books project the receiving cores.
All right.
I would love to see how
Let me
they're
go on
projecting
Underdog and I'll
Juwan
get the lines.
and Ricky. I want to see if Ricky has a lower line than Demarcus Robinson. Honestly, I could see them doing that.
Ricky's at 43.5. Jawan's
They're
at
still high on
48.5.
Jalen Coker, 28. Bang.
Jalen Coker will not be going in the slip, unfortunately.
Bad. He's bad.
Demarcus Robinson's 11.5 receiving.
Interesting.
Sneaky, I was looking at this guy in the Niners that's gonna be like by default playing a bunch of linebacker snaps. I was actually looking at his tackle props just because somebody needs to get the tackles right if the Panthers are gonna be running the ball all day. I forget what his name is. Anyways, we don't need to talk about him. Let's look at the receivers.
65.
Ted's at 65.
Projecting Kittle to be the leading receiver.
Yeah, those feel about right. We could maybe do like a Kittle longest, lower it a little bit to like 14.5. That feels pretty nice. Kittle to break off 115-yard catch.
Where's Leggett?
Where's Leggett? Leggett touchdown
really
could be interesting. 1.9. What about alting like targets to like 4 targets for Leggett? It's just not enough. Leggett's so week to week and pretty inconsistent. He's just not someone I really want to put money behind.
Mm-hmm. Damn, Kendrick Bourne got dropped out of the starting 3 receiver lineup according to ESPN for Demarcus Robinson.
Damn.
Crazy. What is
Um,
Demarcus Robinson's? I know he's only like had 1 game as the starter
mhm.
recently. What is his stuff on Outlier show? I just see 11.5 yards for any receiver. I'm always interested. I always like taking low lines, which is probably why I'm not as profitable as Anthony. I still am up all time, but definitely not as much as Ant. So let's put it that way. So yeah, how many targets is he getting? Does it show you? Targets, receptions. Receptions is fine.
Here it has targets with receptions. Carolina ranking 11th in receiving yards allowed per game, 13th overall. JC Horn, Trayvon Merrick in that secondary, some guys we need to be aware of.
I think JC Horn might be stuck on Sticky Ricky. I've been seeing that Sticky
Juwan.
Ricky is like the receiver 1, which is why he's not getting as much production as you would hope because, I mean, gotta do receiver 1 stuff.
How are they against tight ends? I'm curious. Oh, they're actually been...
Solid.
No, pretty bad. 25th in receiving yards to tight ends. They allowed Juwan to go for 92. That's right. He did just go for 92. I wish it showed me more here. Is there any other... How did Jake Ferguson do against them when they played?
I can check right now. I'll go look at the box.
Yeah, can you check some of the game logs on some tight ends versus... Maybe we can...
Well, I mean, I'm already on the Jets game. Let me see how our boy did. Mason Taylor got 31 yards, 3 receptions, 5 targets against the Panthers when they lost 13-6. Where we? Oh, you wanted to see Jake Fergie?
Mm-hmm.
Jake Ferg did 3 for 3 for 33 and a tud. Longest was 19. Longest for Mason Taylor, let me go back and check for you, was also 13.
Okay.
Let's look at the Bills. The Bills dropped 40 on them.
How'd Kincaid do?
Kincaid went 1 for 3, 23 yards. So they're giving up that longest for tight ends, it looks like. Let me see what Jawan Johnson did. I think if you alt that line to 14.5, I think that's a pretty good bet. But seeing multiple receivers, tight ends get 13 as their longest is like,
it does nothing for the payout. Just looking to do the
And Jawan Johnson's longest was 52 against the Panthers. It looks like they give up decent chunks to tight ends.
You look at Kittle's longest, like it looks pretty good too.
When they played the Falcons,
let's look at games with Purdy.
Kyle Pitts, his longest was only 7. Purdy likes Kittle, man.
So in his last 10 games with Brock Purdy, he's hit in 8 out of 10, dating back to last year. This season, he went over in one of the two last week. I could be down for the Kittle longest reception play. I might do another play, so I think I'm going to...
Darren Waller, 5 for 5, 78 yards, tud, and 34 yards.
All right, so first we're going to lock in this slip that we showed already, Rico Dowdle, CMC, double, and I'm going to send that one to the Discord.
Hunter Henry, 31 yard longest, and a tud. It looks like they're giving up a lot of tuds to tight ends. A lot of tight end tuds and weird, like, weirdly long.
All right, I just locked this slip into the Discord. Again, we're playing on Prize Picks, not Underdog, because we're getting a little bit of a better payout, getting a 2.5x for this on Prize Picks. On Underdog, let's add Kittle longest. And then do we want to do something else with Rico Dowdle? Maybe like an alt line since we're doing Kittle longest? Or should we do something? These Chuba Hubbard were just like one reception. Feels like it could be pretty free. Anything with Tet? What do we think? The Tet lines feel pretty.
Diomandre Lenore, a good corner though, bro.
Yeah, the Tet lines feel pretty sharp, to be honest. Maybe like a targets. We can all like targets down to like 5.5. That's probably pretty free. Let's pull that up on Outlier. Tetaroa.
Damn, you guys got no input for the bets? Come on. Game's in 40-something minutes. Like 50 minutes.
All right, so looking at targets for Tetaroa, 7.5 is kind of the sweet spot that he's been hitting for the most part this year. Looks like San Francisco's towards the top in targets per game for wide receivers. The 5.5 numbers hit in all but 2 games. 2 he didn't were against Dallas and against the Jets, which were like the 2 games Breece Hall just went. I mean, not Breece Hall. Rico went nuts on the ground. Yeah. After. Yeah. So if we add that to the slip, Tet 6 targets, Kittle 22 longest, that gets us to 198.
Go back to Outlier. I think you could probably bump it to 6.5.
You think?
And your odds really aren't changing that much if you change it to like 7.5. What is the actual line at? Is it at 7.5?
Well, 6.5 and 7.5 have the same payout for some odd reason.
I mean,
if we run it at 6.5, we get a 2.4x. 5.5.
Are you really losing that much by bumping it to 6.5? I mean, obviously, it's your slip, but that's just what I'm looking at.
Yeah, let's run to 6.5.
He's gonna go for 6 now. he's gonna go for fucking because I brought it up. He's gonna go for 6 now, and I'm gonna get yelled at off stream. Anthony abuses me off stream, guys. He yells at me and hits me.
No. I say we just lock in these two.
Was it Kittle and Tet?
Yeah. I might just put the bonus funds on this one. Payout.
What's
9,
the
6.
Kittle touchdown payout at?
It's like pretty much even.
Oh, never mind.
I have an idea for. So should we do a? So we'll lock in this one. Yeah. Well, this was my idea. So hear me out. CMC, 2 tugs. Rico Dowdle, 100 rush yards.
What? You lost me.
Rico Dowdle, 100. George Kittle. Oh, I wish they had a 24.5 longest. I think something we could bump Kittle with. Maybe just run these two. Throw a little payout boost on there. Get a 7x for this.
Jalen Coker over 27.5 receiving yards. 49ers always let slot receivers eat the booty, trust free. See, Frizzle, you say that, but you projected Leggett to be the slot receiver this weekend according to your slip. So what's up with that? I thought we were cokeheads.
I'm running this one. I like it.
How much has Coker even gone over that line? Let me look at his game log.
This one's fun, dude. CFC, yeah, 2 tugs. Rico, touchdown. $10 pays out 73. I'll drop the link in the chat if anyone wants to tail that one. All right. Any other thing you want to cook up, or are we good?
I think we should be good. I don't love betting too much on primetime games.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about that first slip. And then just the fun little lottery slip we just played. 3 slips, I guess.
Player analysis. This morning, I was looking at the Mitchell slip splits. Mechie's like playing all over the place, but he is getting more slot usage, which is encouraging for my take that he might be the long-term slot guy in New York, which would be quite nice.
Yeah.
Let me look at something. Another split I want to see. I just want to see how many snaps Xavier Restrepo. You guys know I like my bones.
Yeah, Restrepo did play a little bit. I did notice that.
So I want to see.
Fiery, where you been? We just cooked. I'm gonna send them to the Discord though. We cooked like 3 slips up just now.
I mean, they took away all of Mason Kinsey's playtime, which is encouraging for Restrepo. James Proche might be the guy, though, honestly, but we'll see. Always like monitoring weird situations like that, like even Devon Vele. Let's go look at his playtime and see if I hit the nail on him being a dog at a pass pro, or not pass pro, rush protection. Yep. Another week where Devon Vele plays the most snaps out of all the receivers. You guys want to hear a crazy shout for next season? Bub means Saints. You're muted. Yeah, but I could read your lips. Not happening. Guys, Bub.
We're not doing that.
I'm taking Bub Means and pick 215 next year, I think, in a couple of drafts. If you look at his
Plays
production
for
last
the
year when he was healthy before the injury, he was kind of popping off. So, not a guy I hate. What are the chances tonight? Is a shootout from both teams. Every player goes over their props. Decently high. It's not going to be a defensive game, put it that way. Brock Purdy's too good for that, and I think Bryce Young has something to prove. They're also in the playoff race. I mean, should be fun. Should be a fun game. Brees Hall to the Saints. Screenshot pin it. Man, as a Brees Hall dynasty owner and a closeted Saints fan at this point, I wouldn't mind that at all. But it wouldn't make much sense for the Saints. I don't think they have bigger problems. I think they have cap problems too. I don't think they can afford Brees Hall. I think they're still in like cap space hell. I think the Titans are going to have like over $100 million though in cap during the offseason.
I dropped all the slips in the Discord. Check them out, Fiery. Make sure to join the free Discord. I think everyone that's in here is already in there. So, all right. Anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here, Josh? We've been going a little long. TBD. Probably late.
Depends on if he's on the same team. But if he's on the Texans, I would love to take him wherever he goes, as long as it's past like pick 120 or 130.
Yeah.
Good looks, big butt.
All right, let's get out of here. Appreciate y'all for checking in today. Fun NFL Sunday. Let's keep it up with a fun Monday night game. Oh, another thing that y'all could sweat for me. I got Niners winning this game as my survivor pick for the week in my survivor pool. So I have some stake on this game. If the Niners lose, I'll be out in my survivor pool. There's over 150 people that were in that in the beginning. Now only 14 left. So if the Niners lose, I am out of that, unfortunately. But hopefully they can keep me in, get me through 12 weeks of picking at least one winner correctly. All right. Let's get out of here. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. We'll probably be back live again tomorrow. So we'll see y'all then. Actually, just remember that I have something tomorrow to where I can't go live. We'll be back Wednesday. All
We'll
right,
be
y'all.
back when we're back. Switch to the Panthers trust. Jalen Coker breakout, dude. If Jalen Coker breaks out against the Niners, I'm gonna have such like mixed emotions.
I will not be doing that, unfortunately. If I lose, though, I'll remember that you were right, Frizzle. All right, y'all. We'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.